Welcome back to the MMA Scene. Today's video presents...
I mean, of course I don't want to wait that long. I've been ready for the last year. I've been begging to fight someone. All these guys are ducking me. Khamzat, cum shot, dog face looking motherfucker ran away from my division because he was so scared of me. Now we got Leon playing the running game just like cum shot. So, of course I don't want to wait there, but I'm going to do what's best for business because I'm a company man. I love my company. I love the UFC. They're dear to my heart. They've changed my life. They've given me the American dream that, I never thought I would have coming from a small town in Springfield, Oregon, like I came from. So for them to give that to me, I'm going to always do what's best for them and what's the best business for the UFC. So whenever they want to get it going, I think they're going to start putting pressure on Leon. Like, yo, you don't get to sit out and call the shots. You either come defend the title or we just strip you and it's the next man in line. So there's plenty of other big fights that can be made. You have the Rocky IV, me versus Makachev, champ versus champ. That fight sells. Conor's always there and available. The Usman trilogy. There's a lot of great fights out there. So if he sits too long, he's going to get stripped.
You think how close do you think the UFC is to actually putting a fight like you and Makachev together, like a champion versus champion fight? Because he did fight Volkanovski. It was a great fight. Really, really, I enjoyed that very much. It's one of the most controversial yet highly discussed fights of the year, but Volkanovski is the featherweight champion right now. And technically Makachev has not defended his title against anybody in his division as of right now. So how close do you think that is to the UFC being like, let's just say you win the title in your next fight. How close of a reality do you think that is that you would fight Makachev champion versus champion?
I think it's a very realistic possibility, Mike. There was conversations backstage and in the past that were had about that, and if I could make 155, because I'm not a big 170, I don't cut much weight, 15 pounds, 20 pounds max, if I'm just completely eating as much as I can, stuff in my face. So, I know we probably walk around the same weight. He's just a weight bully. He's cutting all that weight to get the advantage at lightweight because there's no wrestlers. There's no guys that can give him any trouble. So, of course, he wants to be in that division. The same division his daddy Khabib used to own. So, there's a reason Khabib never came to 170 and fought welterweights because King Colby's here and he knows I'll stop his wrestling and punch him in the face until he quits.
You mentioned that you had dinner with Dana White when the UFC was in Miami. That was a month ago as we speak. And Israel Adesanya fought Alex Pereira, and in the co-main event, we had Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal, and this is the fight everybody seemed to be focused on. Once you were announced as the next contender, they're like, well, what if Masvidal beats Gilbert Burns? Then we can have that rivalry sort of play out, the three-piece in Minnesota, and do it that way. And Burns gets the win, and Masvidal goes on to retire. What was your reaction to that? Because I didn't feel like you needed like a sigh of relief once Masvidal lost, because Dana kept saying like, look, I don't care what happens on this card. Colby's fighting for the belt anyways. Masvidal wins or not, Colby's still getting the shot. So what was your reaction once that fight ended and how things played out there?
Not surprised. I retired Jorge Masvidal Street Judas in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada in March of 2022. So he hasn't been the same fighter. You can tell, obviously with what he did to me, attacked me and sucker punched me in the streets and stalked me and hit me from behind because he's a coward. So, he was done then. His ego was gone. His career was gone. He knew it was over. So he's doing something stupid, being a felon, committing felonies and breaking the law. So, he hasn't been the same. You could tell his body posture. He gave everything when he fought me. He came with everything. You could tell he still had the six pack. He was definitely doing some steroids because I used to watch him inject EPO in his ass. But he was definitely on something. He was that because he knew I was his last big main event pay-per-view fight. And he saw what happened. He got the 50-44 in a soda and he was done. He was retired. He literally just showed up for the Gilbert fight for a paycheck. Because Gilbert's a nice guy. He's a family man. So, everybody's got respect for Gilbert, and there's no reason you can't respect that family man.
Yeah, and Gilbert, have you been surprised? Like Gilbert's kind of putting you over. It's been pretty cool. He's like, Colby's playing it smart. Colby's doing this right. He's doing this right, and he hasn't said anything negative about you at all since beating Jorge Masvidal, which I thought was pretty interesting. Usually, guys are trying to get that fight with you, and they're trying to sort of take pot shots at you, and Gilbert's gone the completely different direction.
Yeah, because he appreciates my body of work, Mike. Look at my resume speaks for itself. If you look at the time all my fights happened, what the rankings of these guys were, top 3 guys in the world, future first ballot Hall of Famers, champion, challenger, champion. It's just everybody respects what I've done. Some people, all the haters can jockey for position, but at the end of the day, all my haters, they're just in denial. And you know what's weird, Mike, is I thought denial was just a river in Egypt.
Thanks for watching us. If you like, please don't forget to like and subscribe.